Welcome back to A&S Culinary Concepts. I'm Chef Andrew, and we're cooking with the Glads again tonight. We thought we would go from where we were last time, from concession food to date night. So what we're going to do, like we talked about, we're going to do a pan-seared salmon with an antipasto relish. Then we're going to go ahead and do a quinoa risotto, and then we're going to do some roasted Brussels sprouts. Now, as we're cooking, we want to make sure that all our food comes out at about the same time. So what takes the longest are Brussels sprouts. So we're going to start with them. So we have some beautiful Brussels sprouts that we've already cut in half. And yes, we got them over at Kroger. And we're going to take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Just a little bit. Now, whenever you're roasting vegetables, you want to make sure that all you're doing is coating. Okay, you want a little bit, you want them to glisten, but we don't want any oil on the bottom of the bowl. We don't want to see puddles on the bottom of the bowl. We just want the vegetables to glisten. We're going to hit it up with a little bit of salt and pepper. And we're just doing a very simple roast. So we got a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then what we're going to do later on is hit this with a little balsamic glaze. We're going to put them onto our sheet pan. We got a 375 degree oven, 375 to 100, but we're at 375 right now. We're going to throw them in the oven, and we're going to start them off at about 15 minutes, and then we'll check them. Okay, so we have the Brussels sprouts in the oven, and now we're going to go ahead and start our quinoa risotto, and then we're going to get to our salmon. So we're going to start making our risotto. So our risotto, we have a pot, which we're getting hot. We want to make sure anytime that we're sauteing something, we want to make sure that our pans are hot, and we're going to then add a little bit of raw oil. And this is a mixture of olive oil and canola oil. And we're going to see as that's starting to get hot right there, we see it. See a little bit of smoke, and we're going to throw in our onions. So we have some diced onions. And we're going to throw that in with a little bit of garlic. Anytime we're cooking or sauteing garlic, we want to make sure that we have something that has moisture with it. Onions have moisture. If we just put the garlic in by itself, it would burn. We want to make sure that we have moisture. So we saute with the onions. Then we throw in some mushrooms. Mushrooms have lots of moisture. And what we have today are baby portobellos, the baby portobellos, or cremini mushrooms as they're called also. And we sliced them up. And we're going to add it with a little bit of salt and pepper. And we're going to let these saute for a minute. We want to get them a nice little caramelization going. And then what we have is our quinoa. We have a beautiful tricolor quinoa, which we got at Kroger, and some Parmesan cheese, and we julienned up some beautiful squash, green zucchini. So we're going to throw this in at the end because that does not take very long to cook. And what we want to do is I wish we had a little bit of smell-o-vision going on here because it smells amazing. But we just want that to saute a little bit, get the mushrooms to cook down a little bit, and then we're going to add the quinoa. All right, so as you can see, our mushrooms, our onions, and our garlic have all come together, look amazing inside. And now what we're going to do is add our quinoa and toast it up a little bit in the bowl, in the pot. So we're going to go ahead and Let that cook up. Give that a minute or so in the pot. Get a little bit toasty. And we're gonna add our water in a second. And what we're gonna do is add the water, let it come to a boil, and then put it onto a simmer. We want to then let it simmer for about 20 minutes. What's gonna happen is the quinoa is gonna open up. It's gonna sprout a little bit, and that's what we're looking for. And then we're gonna finish it with our Parmesan cheese and our zucchini and let it sit and simmer, steam all together. And we're gonna add our water, and we're gonna put this on to start boiling and then come to a little bit of a simmer. All right, we're back, and we have our Brussels sprouts in the oven. We have our quinoa on, and it's simmering. So we're getting to the salmon part. So fish. Anytime that you buy fish at the market, if you go over to anywhere that you buy it, you want to make sure that you get to smell. Maybe you have the person touch it for you. Obviously, especially nowadays, they're not going to let you touch it. But have them look at it. Don't just take whatever's behind that plexiglass. So what you want to do is you want to be able to smell it, because behind the plexiglass you can't smell it. But you want to be able to smell it, and then you want to be able to touch it. And if your finger stays in it, that means it's old. It should bounce right back up. Okay? And even though like salmon is an oily fish, it should not have a very fishy smell. It should be a clean smell, and that's what we want. So what we're gonna do, if you notice, we still have the skin on our fish. We want that. Some people, we're gonna saute our fish. Some people like the skin, and they want, you saute it off. But besides that, you utilize it for protection when you're cooking the fish, and the skin comes off very easily. So now I'll show you how to do that. So what we're gonna do is cut a couple of steaks. So what you can do, this belly right here will cook much faster, obviously, than the rest of the meat. So I like to take that off. Then I keep everything else. Also, when I'm buying fish, I make sure that they don't give me the tail, because when you're cutting or when you're cooking, would you rather cook with that thin piece or cook with that piece of filet? And that's what we're looking for. All right, so we're gonna cut in a couple of very nice pieces here. We got one right there. Boom, 2 nice pieces. And we're gonna obviously hold on to this. Maybe we'll go ahead and cook it all up. All right, we'll cook it up for later. All right, so these are gonna be our 2 beautiful pieces. We're gonna hit our pieces up with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, of course. Okay, so we're gonna saute our fish, and just like we were talking about before with the vegetables, we wanna make sure our pan is hot. So we've had our pan on, and we're getting our pan hot here. And you know your pan's hot when you put a little bit of oil in, and it's gonna shimmy, it's gonna dance a little bit. And we don't need to put a lot of oil in for salmon, because salmon is an oily fish, as we stated before. So all we want you to do, and you saw it as it did as it was shimmying, all we want to do is coat the bottom of the pan. Okay, and you see how we have a little bit of smoke coming out there. And we're now going to put our fish in. We're going to put our fish in with skin up. And what we're going to do is put it so the end piece is away from us. Because if there's any oil, it's going to go away from, splatter away from us. So we're putting in our fish. And we're going away from us. And then what we're looking for is that the bottom is going to start turning pink. And we're getting some crispy skin as we're doing that also. All right, we got our Brussels sprouts that are coming out. And we're going to take our Brussels sprouts and we're going to throw them into a small bowl and then toss them with a little bit more oil and the balsamic vinegar or balsamic glaze. So we're going to hold on to these for 1 second and then we'll get to tossing everything. And so we have our starting to get pink on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and flip our fish. See, and we got our skin, our crispy skin here. And now we're going to go for nice color on the other side. All right, so now what we're going to do, see we got the beautiful color right here. We're going to put that onto our pan. And we're going to hit that up with a little bit of lemon juice, a little fresh lemon juice. Because this is going to go in the oven. And we're going to throw a little bit of white wine on there. And we're going to throw it in our oven. 375. All right, so we're going to make our antipasto relish for the salmon. So what we're going to do, we got some beautiful fresh mozzarella that we got from Kroger, from the private reserve section. And then we're going to go ahead and take some sun-dried tomatoes. And we have some Kalamata olives that we cut in half. And some fresh basil that we just julienned or chopped up. Of course, we're going to put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. We're going to take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Again, we don't want to drown the relish in it. All we want to do is glaze it. And we really want to just coat the cheese, coat the sun-dried tomatoes. And then we're going to take a little bit of white balsamic vinegar and give it a nice little flavor there. I like a little bit extra vinegar, but again, it's totally personal. It's up to what you like. Go ahead and try that and taste that up. I think it's right on. Everything is coming together now. So we're going to take our wonderful Brussels sprouts right here. Look beautiful, nice and roasted. And we're going to hit these up with a little bit of balsamic glaze. We had already tossed them with the salt and pepper, remember that, right? Then we're going to take just a little bit of olive oil and toss that in there too. A little extra virgin olive oil in there also. It's awesome. Delicious. Let's finish our quinoa. Oh, wow. Look at that, huh? Beautiful. Zucchini. Put that in. And our Parmesan cheese. And we're going to toss that all together. And the steam from the quinoa is going to wilt that zucchini. So we're getting our salmon out of the oven. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to take our Brussels sprouts, and we're going to put a little bit of Brussels sprouts over here on the plate. And we're going to come back and we're going to get our quinoa. Look how beautiful that is. And we're going to put that on the plate. And then we're going to finish this beautiful plate with a little bit of our relish. And the flavors are going very nicely together. But tell me, that wouldn't hit you up nice on the date night? How would your date enjoy that? This is Chef Andrew with Glad's Cooking, and we will see you next time.